Perkenalkan, aku Yogi, konsep artis dari Stray Studio. Kita kerja untuk sektor film, animasi, game. Sebelumnya kita kontribut di game animasi kayak Netflix Love, Death Robot atau Magic the Gathering dan banyak game lain yang masih dalam development.
Awal mulanya gimana sih bisa jadi konsep artis tuh?
Oke, jadi dari awal aku masa kecil suka main game, nonton film, anime dan lain-lain. Terus dari situ aku nemu game yaitu dari Ubisoft namanya Prince of Persia Two Thorns, dan aku dari ngelihat unik gamenya, desainnya, konsepnya, dan aku lihat konsep artnya juga dari situ udah mulai. Terus dari situ aku mulai lebih ke penasaran ini apa, dan banyak influence dari produk lain juga, misalkan kayak Star Wars, terus juga film-film lain yang waktu itu muncul. Terus akhirnya cari tahu dan ambil studi di bidang konsep langsung, dan akhirnya bersyukur bisa di sektor profesional sekarang.
Mungkin untuk orang awam lah ya,
Yeah.
yang nggak tahu konsep artis tuh apa gitu. Lu bisa jelasin nggak sih sebenarnya konsep artis tuh kayak kerjanya ngapain dan flow-nya tuh kayak gimana dalam suatu project tuh?
Okay.
Gimana gitu?
So we're going a bit technical here. Jadi konsep art sendiri tuh kita, misalkan direktur punya visi nih, kita mau buat game. Gamenya kayak apa? Itu visualisasinya kayak apa? Dan konsep art di sini itu kita ngebangun bentuk komunikasi visual yang bisa ngasih gambaran draftnya. Ini produk akhirnya kayak apa? Dan di sini bakal ngejawab dua hal tadi. Apakah ini sesuai dengan visi dari direktur? Yang of course kalau kita ngomong bisnis bahkan mungkin harus lapor ke investornya, eksekutif dan lain-lain, ya kan? Dan apakah ini bisa eligible nanti dibuat produksinya? Apakah tim produksi dari studio tersebut bisa bangun? Mereka punya talent atau resource-nya untuk bangun konsep ini? Dan apakah mereka punya budgetnya atau waktunya untuk bangun ini? Intinya konsep art is to visualize those, ya, to answer those questions. Kalau ngomong lebih tekniknya, desain komunikasi visual. Jadi kayak kita mulai dari sketches, 2D, 3D, anything that could answer the concept, the visualisasi dari writers or director yang diminta. Dan ini dalam bentuk apapun supaya nanti bisa mengkomunikasikan apa yang direktur mau. Some concept only ends in sketches. Some concept benar-benar harus kayak final, udah kayak industrial design, let's say, or a very final product. Jadi kayak, and to be able to have those design communication skill, you need to build the right fundamentals. Harus bangun skill set yang dimana kamu bisa memvisualisasikan gambar tersebut, or things like you could do also 3D misalkan sekarang. So that is the big picture of things. Dan we could go specific on how to do things, but it's very technical, gitu.
Dari semua project yang pernah kerjain nih, ada yang paling lama nggak sih yang pernah kerjain? Berapa dan berapa lama?
It was paling lama tuh for me 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah. Kayak it was a game that I cannot share it, but we built a lot of establishing di teknologi. Dan it's very complex karena harus bisa ngejawab text directornya, harus bisa ngebangun apa yang publishernya mau, investornya mau, dan bisa viable buat si game tersebut karena banyak gameplay aspek yang ngelimit supaya visualnya nggak aneh-aneh gitu. Jadi agak berantem gitu loh, produksi sama visual, idenya pengen ambisius, tapi produksinya nggak ngangkat gitu. So a lot of those, and to have the middle ground dan ngebangun DNA. What is to do? Jadi nanti konsep artis atau produksi yang lain ngambil, tinggal ngikutin DNA-nya aja. Gitu. So building that. It's very interesting, it's very fun.
Biasanya sih di game itu ada berapa banyak sih posisi yang kayak ngelibatin artis?
Kalau artis sendiri banyak. Jadi kalau pre-production itu ada storyboard, ada konsep. See if I not miss anything. Konsep ya. Konsep sendiri ada karakter, creature, props, and environment. Terus kalau produksi ada karakter artis yang bikin 3D modelnya, environment artist, modeler, animator, orang tekstur, orang rigging, orang lighting, compositing nantinya, post production, VFX, Illustrator, marketing arts. So it's a lot. Yeah. Makanya kayak I think it's very interesting if you can like talk with these people as well. So yeah, UI as well. That's very good. Sorry ya, banyak banget UI as well. Bahkan technical art is very interesting karena it's like very programming. It's like kalau misalkan kayak main, misalkan I think what I know dari Last of Us, mereka pengen bikin reflection blot-nya gimana. Artnya bisa nih kebangun, but you have to talk to the technical art people whether it's viable in the game. Karena it's a lot of coding to build that, you know. Kayak misalkan buat, I don't know, misalkan hair strand ya, ngebangun hairnya supaya bisa gini-gini, mau berapa hairnya yang bisa diangkat, it's a lot of like, you know, coding as well. Sebanyak ambisius artnya, it's a lot of money to build that technology, ya. Yeah? So it's very interesting job there, you know. It's very hard though.
Menurut lu sendiri, apa sih ngebedain konsep artis dengan bidang lainnya? Misalnya kayak contoh desain grafis atau misalnya motion graphic kayak, dan kenapa lu juga pilihnya sebagai konsep artis? Jadi
karena menurutku ini bidang profesi yang lumayan unik ya. Di sini konsep art itu baru sekitar tahun 80 90-an, kayak mulai film-film kayak Blade Runner atau Star Wars gitu-gitu kan. Juga waktu itu banyak development game yang awalnya dari 2D bener-bener kayak 2D gitu, terus develop menjadi 3D, terus banyak mulai kebutuhan visual atau mungkin CG juga. Terus uniknya aku lihat bahwa konsep art di sini bisa bisa ngasih, there's a lot of like storytelling aspect to this that you can have fun with. Kayak, dan a lot of the storytelling aspect, let's say, or a lot of the fun stuff itu mulainya dari real world, you know, like. Dan kenapa aku pilih konsep art, karena aku kira dengan bisa aplikasiin rasa penasaran, pembelajaran aku ambil dari budaya, history, culture, people, places, dan aku bisa belajar situ dan bisa langsung diaplikasikan bentuk dalam sebuah produk entertainment, walaupun itu game, film, dan lain-lain. Dan menurutku ini lumayan, it's a lot of freedom and a lot of creativity on there. Dan it is very kayak as it's very interesting, it's very complex as well untuk bisa punya storytelling, visual komunikasi dan lain-lain, dan digabung jadi satu. Itu menurutku lumayan, the set of complexity is very interesting, and that's why I choose concept art gitu.
Kalau dari proses pembuatan game sendiri nih, sebagai konsep artis itu, lu tuh perannya di mana dan bisa ceritain nggak flow-nya itu gimana sih?
Oke, jadi secara garis besar development games, bahkan nggak beda jauh lain juga animasi atau film juga more or less sama. Kita punya tahap pertama, ada 3 tahap besar, pre-production, production, and post-productions. Pre-production itu biasanya mulai dari script atau bahkan dari pitch, ide yang udah ada yang bisa di-establish ke nanti produksi ya. Jadi kayak aku konsep art kita di pre-production, dan kita kerja langsung sama director, storyboard artist, writer untuk bisa ngebangun konsep, kayak visualisasi bentuk final product dari ini tuh apa gitu. Dan dimana value-nya itu adalah kita kayak ngebeli waktu juga ya, kayak ngebeli ide dimana kita bisa lihat dari konsep yang ada, apakah ini viable dengan visi direktornya, apakah ini cukup dengan budget yang produksinya punya. Jadi kayak, dan juga kita bisa kayak menyatukan visi dan mensuarakan visi dari direktor untuk supaya orang-orang produksinya bisa ngebangun ke satu produk dengan visi yang sama. Jadi kayak ngebuat produksi pipeline-nya tuh lebih efisien nantinya. Terus juga di sini juga kita bisa, I think one of the best thing from concept art for me is ada aspek namanya world building, di mana kita ngebuat kultur baru, dunia baru, dan kita bisa se-ekspansif atau se-spesifik kayak dunia nyata, dan itu bisa diaplikasikan langsung ke bentuk produk apapun ya, dari game, animasi, film, dan lain-lain. Tapi ya mostly we're talking about games is like that, you know. Kayak sekarang juga game kan ada VR, ada game, ada console, PC, di mana bahkan you see like FPS or third person open world gitu-gitu kan kebutuhan masing-masingnya beda, dan experience yang diambil dari situ juga beda. Game like FPS, Cyberpunk, or Valorant itu mereka punya demand, attention dan detail yang beda dengan game GTA, Red Dead Redemption, dan lain-lain sih. So it's very interesting game bisa sangat lebih variatif ya. Cuman ya itulah production, pre-production, production, post-productions, and concept art is the in pre-production.
Buat konsep artis sendiri, misalnya lu ngerjain satu proyek itu seberapa susah sih dan berapa lama, dan mungkin juga bisa kasih tau kayak dari semua proyek yang lo pernah lu kerjain, paling challenging itu yang mana menurut lu?
So, yang aku bisa share kali ya, waktu itu aku nggak bisa, so like I cannot really say the product karena NDA, but waktu itu kayak interesting klien di tempat tertentu mereka punya demand dan taste yang spesifik, dan ada klien di mana kayak direktornya tuh misalkan satu direktur tuh bisa sangat artistik dan elaboratif, di mana kita nggak perlu bener-bener harus kayak kasarnya bikin kue tuh nggak perlu harus matang, bisa aja penggambarannya cocok. Cuman ada direktur di mana mereka bener-bener harus matang dan ready and everything, dan mereka baru bisa decide apakah ini yang mereka mau apa enggak. Menurutku tiap project punya kompleksitas masing-masing, cuman I think one of the biggest learning process I've got from the most interesting project itu lebih ke komunikasi antara, karena kita artis ya, kita punya visi atau taste yang kita punya, yang kita bisa elaborasi dalam bentuk karya, tapi direktur juga atau tim juga punya visi tim ya, visi produknya gimana gitu kan, dan untuk bisa balance I guess ego or visi yang kita punya dan yang tim mau itu lumayan unik sih menurutku, getting the balance, dan ini dalam bentuk komunikasi kan, meeting atau getting feedback, things like that, so it's very interesting.
Dari awal lu mulai karir sampai sekarang nih, lu sendiri pernah nggak sih kerja di industrinya kreatifnya Indonesia nih, yang kayak?
Oke, it's very interesting karena aku bisa lihat banyak diskrepansi kali ya, banyak perbedaan dari Indonesia sama domestik sama internasional. Untuk jawab pertanyaannya, aku belum pernah kerja dengan produk lokal karena kebetulan menurutku apa yang they have don't get me wrong, kayak I think in Indonesia they have a very interesting and game and product dan lain, dan I think our industry is growing very fast. At the same time, kalau untuk soal komersil, misalkan konsep art itu aku masih fokus dengan niche-ku, karena di sini kita, let's say Stray, kita punya fokusnya di world building konsep, tapi kita lihat bahwa di Indonesia itu mungkin belum ada need-nya, demand-nya belum setinggi itu di Indonesia. Tapi salah satu yang aku bangun di Indonesia itu yang mungkin bisa dibahas ntar, itu lebih ke edukasi, karena aku lihat Indonesia we have a lot of like a very interesting kayak human resource ya, a lot of talents, a lot of like passionate people, and I think that's very good. Jadi aku kira supaya bisa ngebangun atau contribute kali ya di sektor industri ini supaya lebih matang, supaya kita punya game lebih banyak, film produk lain lebih asik juga. Menurutku I think it's gonna be really fun if I work on more on the education side more than the commercial for now. Tapi that being said, kayak we're very open. Kayak kita kerja dengan subjek orang-orang di luar negeri, bukan berarti kita we're trying to like choose them. It's just that kita punya visi yang sama, kita bisa lihat value yang sama, and that's how we work together. We're very open regardless of the tepatnya dari mana, negaranya dari mana. So I hope at some point one day kita bisa kerja dengan domestic market. So
dari sisi employer sendiri nih ya, sisi employer tuh apa sih ngebedain kreatif Indonesia dengan kreatifnya luar negeri misalnya? Menurut lu?
Oke, kalau dari employer sendiri, karena di sini kita bahas employer. When we talk about employer, I wanna talk about two things. Satu kreatif, satu bisnis. Ya, I think let's start with kreatif. Kreatif, misalkan aku nggak ngerti harus sekompleks apa ngobrol ya. But let's say banyak studio atau pelaku-pelaku industri itu tinggal base-nya di first world countries, ya, US, UK, and they have a very good foundation, kayak gara-gara negaranya udah lumayan, let's say we could call it facility, privilege, support, ya kan? So, and then the culture as well, karena di sana aku lihat bener-bener mementingkan kayak keunikan gitu loh. right? And it's very interesting karena misalkan places like Japan, gitu. Kayak aku lihat banyak pelaku industrinya atau value yang mereka lihat is very safe. Or it's not really safe, but especially at the very least in AAA yang produknya besar itu kayak the hierarchy is very static gitu ya. Jadi kayak banyak pelaku kreatif di industri Jepang, misalkan Jepang ya atau di Timur itu lumayan kayak almost like corporate, you know. And tapi sebaliknya di Eropa banyak atau di Barat banyak yang sangat lebih flexible, you know, bisa ngobrol tentang ide dan lain-lain ya. Jadi kayak dua aspek ini bisa ngebangun taste the creativity yang lumayan unik, you know. Kayak if you see game dari Jepang and you see game dari Europe or like produk dari Europe or the West, you could see the characteristic is very different. And ngomongin kreatif, kenapa? Karena ini bangun dari kulturnya, pola pikir mereka, mindset mereka gimana, dan if anything itu disupport, you know, like art is something there, historinya kuat di sana, right? Atau you know kesenian nggak cuma lihat music, you know, movies dan lain-lain yang karena game juga kan sekarang banyak sinematiknya, banyak apa ya perpaduan aspek kultur kreatif atau pelaku kreatif atau talent ya. So I think that's like in creative intinya mereka disupport, mereka punya a good education, mereka they have a sharper minds, let's say ya. And I'm not saying di sini enggak, ya kan? Di sini people is amazing karena banyak dari otodidak, banyak dari benar-benar kayak antusiasmenya dan mereka bisa sukses. And I really respect that. Kedua soal bisnis, karena tadi apresiasinya tinggi ke art, so they understand kayak desain misalkan. It's not easy job, you know, kayak you have to think, you know, kayak dan aku lihat misalkan di Timur atau budayanya, like they don't care, you know, or they don't care as much pas di Barat, misalkan kayak, oh I don't, you know, kayak, oh kita harus punya ide ini, gitu, and then I don't really know how, but I need you to deliver, ya, sedangkan kalau di Barat, it's like, hey let's talk about this, you know, hey, thinking about idea is hard and takes time, and it's okay to take time, you know. Kayak that kind of culture, and also you could see the reflection in business, you know. Kayak they don't ask the process, you know. Okay, they don't really. I mean, they have a very appreciation towards the process. Yeah. Sorry. Kayak di Barat tuh bener-bener kayak, well let's talk on the same table, you know. Kayak dan regardless kayak, bisa kan kalau ada waktu itu cerita dari I don't know if you know Guerrilla Games. Mereka bikin Horizon Zero Dawn. What happened is everyone sit on the same, you know, table and chair, and hey guys, let's just, you know, pull an idea. And some guys from somewhere, let's do this robot, you know, post-apocalyptic world. You know, you see how it's very nggak hierarkinya, but it's very flexible, it's very open communication. Yeah, and you see how this being valued, dan dari perlakuan value-nya, you could also see how that artist or designer there is very kompensasinya tinggi, respectnya juga tinggi, makanya kayak idea and creative is very respected ya. So these two things to me is very important karena creative side-nya benar-benar disupport dan di nurture, business side-nya juga ngerti bahwa kreatif tuh is a very it's just a thing kayak I think industri sektor game atau kreatif, what is the main commodity kalau bukan human resource? Ideas, right? Kayak kita mau bikin animasi ya, sound animator, you know, and like it's not like bahan baku dan lain-lain. So I think in these places yang punya produk kreatif yang sukses, menurutku they actually treat it very well gitu loh. And I know that this is generalization, you know, people have it plus and minus, but in general things like that. So it's quite interesting observation, I guess let's say so.
Dari segi artis sendiri, menurut apa sih yang harus diimprove dari segi kreatif Indonesia?
I think kalau no, it just karena
kalau open-minded?
Kalau aku lihatnya lumayan ini ya, karena lumayan gak bisa di point ke satu hal karena it's very banyak compounding effect-nya lah. Dari satu hal bantu aspek. Jadi kayak banyak fondasi yang dibangun, yang sekarang lagi dibangun, yang dimana fondasi itu bisa impacting satu ke sama lain. Kayak I think if I could say dari lokal itu kan, apa yang bisa lebih di-push, I think aku boleh bilang kayak waktu bakal ngejawab sih, karena we're growing, you know, kayak anak mudanya look at you guys, you know, kayak you're doing this, you know, kayak I think with time dan karena kita juga udah lebih open dengan internet, globalization, it's easier for us to look for information and people here are very enthusiastic kali ya. Karena kita bisa belajar dari banyak hal dan lain-lain dan with time I hope kayak bakal banyak interaksi juga dari pelaku-pelaku di luar di mana kita bisa sangat lebih belajar. Karena sekarang kayak how do you say it? Infrastrukturnya mungkin belum sampai sana.
Technology is up there, ya.
Yeah, it's not like technology as well, but kayak misalkan gimana program kita bisa bantu misalkan kerjasama sama pelaku industri expert lain. You see how like some people make games dan mereka mau bawa dev kitnya dan di imigrasi tahan. You know what I mean, right? But you get what I mean, right? So like all this infrastructure, I think is a very good word for it. Jadi infrastruktur di misalkan edukasi, pelaku industri, bentuk modelnya, I hope pelan-pelan bisa jauh lebih ke ngebangun ekosistem di mana kreator, konsumernya itu bisa dalam satu ekosistem. Karena sekarang, I think aku bisa lihat orang Indonesia lumayan hobi main game, mobile let's say, atau mungkin nonton film. Kita punya orang interest banyak dan menurutku karena interestnya udah ada, I hope demand-nya udah ada, supply-nya pelan-pelan muncul sih. So it's just that I think it takes time karena bener-bener gede ya. We have like 250 juta penduduk dan kreatif industri like how many percent and kayak pelan-pelan ngebangun sih di situ. So I hope that you'll see more and more things coming along in the next few years. Dan I mean I'm very optimistic about how the progress dan if there's anything like time will tell. And if anything, like just keep doing what you love, sih. Keep doing what you love. Be more brave, be more, have fun. We're all in this together. Kayak kalau ada apa-apa, jangan takut dicat orang. Ask more questions, be more initiative, things like that sih. Gitu.
Oke, kalau Bang, tadi kan lu sempat bilang influencer mungkin di Indonesia sendiri itu salah satu edukasi ya kan? Bisa dijelasin lagi maksudnya edukasi itu apa? Kalau ngajar, apa kalau buka private lesson?
I think it's that's one thing from anything that is actually important as well. Misalkan kayak, I think one of the thing yang lebih menarik, aku nggak tahu kalian sempat lihat apa nggak, cuman ada kontroversi di mana, I mean we're gonna talk about this as well. Banyak ada desain prodi itu dosennya ngajarin AI. So that's quite interesting, yeah. And that talks a lot about the awareness, Kayak I'm not saying AI is a very different thing. It's very controversial, yeah. But people ada yang suka, ada yang against it, ada yang pro from it. But you see how mungkin banyak. Apakah nggak ngerti? Aku mau bilang developernya premature juga nggak bisa karena we're growing organically. Tapi we definitely need more people that wanna teach karena one thing to be an artist, second thing to be a teacher, ya. And same thing with any other sector. Kalian bisa expert di satu hal tapi belum tentu bisa ngajar di hal lain. So I think what do you call it? Like exposure is very important to know what is good, to know what is it's not right but proper, let's say, inside, ya. Dan lebih ke kayak interaksi juga ya, kayak I think that's why we doing this kind of talk as well. It's very important karena aku bisa lihat bahwa sebanyak-banyaknya atau se-fleksibelnya akses kita punya ke konten kayak gini, masih banyak orang nggak tahu, and that speaks something, ya, whether it's an issue or a condition or state, and I feel like we just need more, and I feel like it takes time, and karena you guys doing one thing and some people doing other thing and it kind of like combines all together in like one bigger picture, yeah. So I feel like we need everything to like grow together and it's not easy karena nggak bisa dari sektor satu doang. If we have the education, let's say kita punya tempat les atau edukasi dari mana yang bisa bantu, pasti nanti ada dari marketnya harus gimana, studionya harus ngapain, terus nanti ada konsumernya, like how can we have a good education kalau misalkan let's say I don't know how much people percentage orang Indonesia yang masih ngebajak game, for example, yeah, right, and especially domestic game. It's a bit of pain, kayak gimana developer bisa tumbuh if we still do this, right? Jadi awareness, right? Like I said, exposure, insight. And I'm not saying people doing it wrong, kayak tapi dengan pelan-pelan bisa dibangun message, appreciation about how hard or how difficult is to or build, something, like creative is important. Dan buat, masa juga ya, umum nggak cuma di sektor tertentu. So it's very interesting karena itu balik lagi banyak aspek ya. And banyak sektor juga, apakah dari private or government things ada, kayak gimana kolaborasinya dan lain-lain. So I really hope is going well lah ke depannya. So gitu.
Lu sendiri, is it good thing or bad thing?
So kalau aku bilang, it's like the first word I'm gonna say is this: history will repeat itself. Yeah, it's like what internet is like 30-40 years ago, and everyone's mind, like jangan jauh internet. It's like cell phone, Dulu kita pakai ke wartel, and then things gone, right? And then like this transition, right? And then AI is very interesting karena it's one of the most kayak benar-benar bisa bantu banyak. And I think AI will not go away. It's gonna be very embedded di kehidupan sehari-hari. Nggak cuma di sektor industri ya. It's like your phone is somehow AI as well, Anything that you see is electrical, probably is an AI into that as well. So, but let's just talk a bit more specific di konteks industri kreatif ya. Kalau aku lihatnya gini, my first comment on this, kayak misalkan kita bahas AI soal art, ya kan. Dengan adanya AI art, aku bisa lihat kayak mungkin bakal, dan ini di luar kontrol ya. Whatever you do is gonna be there, right? And that's my stance ya. Like I'm not trying to take control, like trying to go against it. I'm very neutral, and I'm just going around and see and observe. Aku lihatnya gini, kayak semakin banyak gambar yang muncul atau AI art yang muncul, semakin itu bisa lebih aksesibel buat publik. Jadi semakin publik tuh bisa jauh lebih menerima atau menyesuaikan, what is art, let's say, ya. Karena sekarang jauh bisa lebih aksesibel kali ya. Let's say 10 years ago mungkin mereka nggak sesering itu lihat banyak art. Sekarang bakal jauh lebih banyak karena ada AI, ya kan? Dan of course, at the moment banyak ethical problems-nya karena a lot of the work is actually based dari karya orang lain yang diproses di data, dan we don't have any law to protect artists from it ya, and people are working to it, banyak aplikasi atau gerakan movement yang dibangun supaya bisa protect artists, but that put aside, kayak banyak bakal masyarakat umum bisa jauh lebih kenal dengan seni, dengan art, dan the question then in 5-10 years ketika misalkan kayak let's just put it an analogy, kayak misalkan sekarang kita langkanya apa, misalkan nasi goreng langka, misalkan dengan bantuan AI kita punya banyak nasi goreng, and every day the more like in the future bakal sangat accessible ya nasi goreng, and then people will get used to that, that lifestyle where they have nasi goreng ya. But the quite interesting thing nantinya ketika karena something is, we talk about taste, for example. Ketika kamu tahu nasi goreng enak, you feel it, right? Dari nasi goreng 5 nih, kamu like one, right? So, this feeling of taste or like the sensitivity of taste ini, menurutku bakal kebangun nantinya. Pas nanti AI ini. So, what I'm trying to say is, kayak banyak artwork yang bakal muncul, atau game, atau produk yang bakal muncul, ini bisa jadi movie, game, animasi, dan lain-lain, ya. Saking banyak yang maraknya kuantitas, you will see that people will notice only the good part, like the good taste of this. And what I'm trying to say from this is that is even the more reason for artists or for designer or creative people, for me, to like really go deep down into what's valuable. Storytelling is valuable, art direction is valuable. Having a good taste in art is valuable, yeah. And then teamwork is valuable, communication is valuable, yeah. Because karena sebagai desainer atau seni atau apapun itu, kita kerjanya nggak gambar, we work in a team, ya, and it's very complex, let's say, and I feel like look at what is the fundamental value from it, and try to go deep into that, so that you have more substantial value that you can provide to the table, gitu loh. Jadi kayak, I know it's not easy, karena di negara kita industri edukasi juga masih berkembang, teknologi is too fast, dengan grow dari human resource kita misalkan. But there's nothing I could do to control that pace. The world is gonna still going and going and going, ya. So I felt like it's even the more reason to ask that question. Apa yang benar-benarnya, apa substansial buat kamu gitu. Like what makes you yourself unique, you know? Kayak apa yang kamu bisa taruh yang unik buat kamu on the table. And I felt like the more you do that, the more authentic you are, the more valuable you can be. And I felt like that kind of like will ngejawab mungkin. Like you probably have different perception dengan AI setelah itu sih. So I mean that's my opinion on it. So yeah.
Mungkin ini hot takes ya. Banyak yang bilang kayak AI itu will take over the industry of creative, like the cinematography or something like that kan.
Yeah.
Dan apakah lu sendiri bakal menggunakan AI buat di project-project lu selanjutnya?
Okay, let me answer the first question. Karena ketika kita bilang take over the industry, in what way? Kalau emang teknologi bakal jadi bagian dari industri, menurutku iya. Dan emang udah terjadi juga dalam sebutan lalu. So it will in a way embedded to help us, ya. Tapi I think that dari industri trennya yang aku lihat selama few years back, creative, the essence of creative is human process, you know. Kayak you paint something and ada human errornya, and that what makes it very human, and you feel it, you know. Kayak but if AI make something that I don't know, maybe at some point after my lifetime, mungkin AI-nya bisa sangat organik itu untuk bikin karya, ya. But at the moment you could feel mana yang soulless, let's say, right? Yeah. Mana yang like has a soul to it. And when it comes to like this, I think human mistake or human process is very important. Like you could feel it, you know, subconsciously, let's say. So I would say that it will not take over, but it will be a big part of the industry, like it or not. And then again, like coming back to the previous things that I mentioned, how can you do and what can you do to be able to adjust, yeah? And I know it's hard because to me now it's like adaptability, you know, kayak things as something will be gone, something will come as well, you know. So and I think this is inevitable. Jadi kayak if so AI will take a lot of the part of the industry, what can we do? And I think don't forget the most important thing, that I think all of you artists or creative people do this because of fun, because you want it, and you know you're passionate about it, you love it, yeah. So like really, you know, be like bener trying to like be honest with that. And I know it's scary, but I feel like if you do it together with people and you know sharing and you know just helping, supporting each other, I feel like it's gonna make it a bit more easy, I think. So, but in Stray, in terms of productions, we use it as a tool. And I mean, myself personally, I don't really use it because my process now in my work is very organic. So I could, and a lot of the organic is within my control, yeah. And I don't think at the moment, not a lot of AI stuff is within the control that I want to have. Jadi kayak I work faster without AI at the moment. Maybe at some point it will change, but we never know. But I always keep learning about new tools, new method dan lain-lain sih. Be inovatif aja in that sense. So yeah.
Bisa ceritain nggak awal mulanya lu sendiri bisa kerja project internasional gitu kan, dan juga kan bisa sampai lu traveling kemana-mana dan juga bisa sampai tinggal di UK itu awal mulanya itu kayak gimana sih?
Oke, jadi emang dari pas studi awalnya aku lumayan beruntung bisa dapat kesempatan untuk sekolah di luar. Waktu itu aku mulainya di Singapura, dan di situ aku udah ditemuin dengan classmate yang orang-orang sangat disiplinnya tinggi dan benar-benar mau progress dan develop di industri ini. Jadi kayak banyak classmate aku yang kayak banyak relasi kerjaan sekarang yang aku bangun dari teman. Jadi dan itu lumayan bisa sangat compounding efeknya tinggi. Jadi banyak temanku pas di Singapura itu ngasih jalan aku ke tempat lain, dan akhirnya bahkan misalkan kayak studio yang aku bangun sekarang itu kita mulai dari like the co-founder satu lagi itu dari Inggris, dan itu aku ketemu dia waktu kita umur belasan. Waktu itu kita di California, di LA, dan we start with nothing, you know, we just two student, kayak kita nggak tahu apa-apa, and we want the same thing, we will have the same vision. Terus, and then once we start working, kayak kita langsung kenapa why don't we do this together, you know? And then out of like nothing, I mean in terms of like, karena it's like working as a concept artist and building a business is two different things. And then to be able to take that risk, untuk bisa ngambil resikonya, aku beruntung bisa punya let's say support system dan environment yang sangat supportive ya, sama healthy. So and misalkan kayak kalau ngejawab gimana cara kita dapat pekerjaan pertama di produk luar, konsep art sendiri itu lumayan kuat komunitasnya karena niche, is very niche gitu, kayak orang-orangnya itu aja. Jadi kayak tiap tahun kita punya konferensi yang diadakan di Inggris, di US, di Eropa, Jepang dan lain-lain, Filipina. Jadi kayak at the time aku bikin portfolio, and then kita bawa portfolionya kita coba market, and then we just met the right people. Dari situ things kinda like rolling, dan akhirnya kita bisa kolaborasi sama mereka, dan it's been very fortunate karena these people we trust a lot and they trust us, so it's been a very good journey lah so far. So
apa sih yang lu bisa kasih edukasi buat orang-orang yang mau masuk industri kreatif juga nih? Mungkin dari remaja yang mau jadi konsep artis juga, apa sih yang harus mereka mulai dari awal?
I think it's there's always three things that I have in my process ya. Dan ini bisa diaplikasikan kemana aja. 3 hal, I think I wanna say, first is observation, second is understanding, third thing is execution. Why is this important for me? Because ketika kamu bilang, oh aku mau konsep art, you gotta have to be able to have some level of awareness about what do you want to do and why you want to do it. Karena like if you have that observation about what is concept art, understanding what we do, and know how to execute the idea, I think it will give you a very good awareness and kind of like insight about, okay, this is like the general view of concept or any other work, and based on that, really decide that having a specific goal, would really help, yeah. And by having that specific goal, you could bring up to people in the industry yang udah professional, and you can have ask that questions, oh, I want to be here, I want to have this skill set, I want to do this, and if you know your reasoning behind it, and it's okay if you don't know as well, because then you explore, yeah. You never know, you never try, let's say. So to people that want to start, yang mau mulai, be curious and and be initiative and kayak I think it's really easy to say kayak jangan takut buat salah, eksploratif, kolaborasi bareng teman-teman kamu, because all these things will bring you somewhere at some point, kayak and I think the joy of doing art or the joy of doing creative to me is the passion and the love, and how can you share the love with people, be it through collaboration or be it through just talks or any sharing ideas, things like that. I think at the moment kreatif sendiri is very flexible. We could connect this to any dots, any industry, any kind of sector, anything. So I mean, especially in concept art, there will be a lot of interesting, cool new contents and technologies that will help you to bring what is a good compelling story or values or concept or idea or design. So yeah, and you can just explore and go crazy all out, and then have fun. Don't forget to have fun. So.
Opportunity buat kreatif dalam negeri sendiri yang mungkin mereka ingin sama nih prospeknya, karir path kayak lo bisa kerja di luar negeri atau segala macam. Itu chance mereka tuh dengan industri yang sebesar ini tuh kayak gimana sih? Sebesar apa, dan mungkin bisa kasih tips kayak cara mereka approach klien kayak gimana? Atau misalkan dari mereka bisa managing, karena mungkin sekarang tipikalnya orang kerja via remote lah ya.
Yeah.
Itu kayak gimana?
Oke. Jadi I think karena kita bahas opportunity, kita bakal bahas value, right? Dan value di sini kayak because ini kan industri kreatif ya, so everything creative is very intertwined, let's say. Karena we're not just only talking about portfolio, but how to get that portfolio out there and how. Jadi intinya kayak, to put it simply, how to get a job or how to get the opportunity, the right opportunity is to know what is the right opportunity for you, yeah, what is the right job for you, right? And from bisa tahu nih the right job for you itu kayak apa, or what do you want, right? Basically after that is building a condition or a state where you could be open to that opportunity supaya benar-benar bisa pintunya banyak kebuka. What I'm saying is understand what you want to do, understand the portfolio that you want to have, and then after that you can actually build a strategy, let's say, supaya you could have the right thing, meet the right people on the right time in the right place. And I know that mungkin some people punya yang bisa punya resource, they could go to like abroad, they could go to the conference, langsung business dealingnya di situ, right? But for some people yang let's say limited with remote accessibility, kayak internet, I feel like it's even more important first to understand like your brand, who you are, and what is the value that we can employ for you, yeah? And then know how to voice your art. Having a good work is one thing, but other thing is to have a good presentation. Kayak if I could say this, kayak lu jual let's say laptop biasa with the packaging of MacBook sama jual MacBook tapi diplastikin, mana yang mau beli orang? You know what I mean? Presentation is as much as packaging or presentation is as much as important as the product itself, right? So, and then this comes not only from your portfolio on your website, but how you bring yourself, what the question that you bring, kayak your kayak pembawaan dirinya or your approach, right? And internet is very accessible. Kayak I tell you at the very least in concept art, orang-orang supportive kok. Like I see where a lot of like inspiring people where they start from nothing and they keep reaching out those people abroad dan akhirnya mereka bisa tembus. Everything is possible if you again by knowing the values, by knowing the information, the data that you need, that that is a demand for the people that you want to work with. It's important to have. So again, like understanding of this is key. And okay, but I don't know how to understand this. You can always ask people. You can always reach people out and ask the questions. And I feel like the more specific your question is, the more it's gonna helpful to bring up that answer. And there's no, it's okay to ask like very general things as well. But again, kayak when we talk about opportunity, we have to know what is that. And how to know what is that, you have to decide what is the best for you, And again, after that, you could extrapolate and build a plan based on that. And of course, it takes discipline to build the portfolio. It takes commitment to be consistent in any type of work that you do, right? So, and it's never easy, but I think it's worth it, and it's possible. So that's my answer to it. So.
Lu sendiri punya tips and tricks gak sih kayak ketika lu lagi stuck on ideas atau enggak lu lagi slump dalam berarti project ini? Apa sih bisa lo lakuin?
So I think it's very interesting question karena what I in art ya dan mungkin di kreatif industri lain juga, there's a lot of the word like grinding, right? And then I think if you grind a lot, you tend to be stuck or burnout, for example, right? So that being said, like again, like I come back to the observation, understanding, and even execution. If you know what you're doing, you know your limits. Like if you know your limits, like your environment, your how to and what to do and all, right? Jadi kalau misalkan stuck, what I would do is just like get a good balance, Kayak if you're stuck, then get a fresh air, Do something that is kind of like help you to bisa get a fresh eye, Bisa lebih segar. And I think, and it's probably against the grinding idea, but I see a lot of things applicable to the word less is more. Kayak if you do it efficiently enough, and if you know the purpose and all, you don't need to like grind. I know that maybe at certain stage of career you should, the more the better in that sense, yeah. But if you can, work it and play it smart, based on the understanding you have, I think you to actually, karena ini mungkin aku jawabnya lebih ke preventifnya, because it should prevent you to be able to feel like stuck in it. Karena kalau emang stuck juga, you could always find inspiration, talk to people, kayak you do art, you go out and talk to, I don't know, kayak tukang nasi goreng depan rumah, or talk to like, different people, enjoy that drink, like really, so much stuff that you can enjoy outside art, outside the stuck itself. And I felt like when you feel burnout or stuck, maybe you should do that, kayak, and exercise, go out, and be in a community and go out, watch that good movie or good games or whatever, If you, and then some people they play, I don't know, like I play, like if I'm being very stuck and mad, I play Dota and and I do that. Yeah.
Classic one.
Yeah. So and then I just go out and be my friend, and then you scream, shout, and everything, and then and I feel fresh, and I go back to my my jam again. So, or again like exercise and all these things. People have their own way to do things. Again, like understanding yourself, I think is important in a sense. So yeah, and that would be what my opinion on how to tackle this, let's say. So.
Untuk sekarang ini, lu punya target atau mimpi gak sih kedepannya lu mau kayak gimana? Apakah lu mau bikin perusahaan di Indonesia, berdiri sendiri, gimana?
I think one of my bigger goals, I mean, for me, I have this, I think at least for Stray, we have this, our independent mission, We wanna establish something that is unique for us, and we're doing that at the moment, and we'll probably share it in a few years. But my personal dream, if anything, is to, I wanna learn more, go out from my keluar dari comfort zone, keluar dari concept art, and understand people in different creative, industry, and collaborate with, with the other people and have fun in different ways, playing at new playground and all. But other than that, I think my big dream, I think I learned this from a very good friend, bahwasanya kayak aku pengen bisa lihat di mana nanti itu Indonesia punya industri kreatif yang sektornya tuh kayak ekosistem yang baik gitu loh. Kita punya produsen yang baik, punya konsumer yang juga apresiatif, dan akhirnya bisa muter. Like if you see China, for example, they have a very high numbers on the creative industry, and the games that they're making, the movies that they're making is very very big, And I wish to, that's kind of like some of the inspiration, let's say, that I want to see in Indonesia, di mana kayak orangnya bisa makmur gitu loh, by doing art and enjoying what they want, what they do, and I know, I really hope that could happen sih, gitu sih.
Kita bisa kenal lu dan ketemu lu tuh lewat sosial medianya apa aja sih? Mungkin bisa dipromot?
Yeah, just have social media, Yogi Swalasthama, or you can reach out to Stray Studios, and then just, if you have any, for those who's watching, and if you have any more questions, I think you can always, put some ideas here, what would be nice to have, or reach me out through this, social text, gitu sih. So, I'm more than happy to respond and answer any other questions that you have,
Terakhir nih ya, pesan buat pelaku artis di kreatif Indonesia ini apa sih yang mau sampaikan?
Okay, so it's very interesting. I'll just say, again, I'll say this again and again and again. The world is a big sea, that you can explore. Just enjoy the game, man. Take your time, take your pace. Have fun with friends, like you're not on this alone. Everyone is here, like they have the same passion as you, interest as you, and then like connect the dots, let's say, and then enjoy all the small things, I would say, And I know it could be very scary sometimes with how things goes around, the worlds, all this, technology, AI and everything. But I would say that don't forget all these things, and I would say also to, like give yourself credits, like, oh, you done something today, and that's a big win, and share it and celebrate it, and through anything that you want to do, So I feel like that is important, and I see a bit, I guess that's missing, because a lot of people is like, oh, I want to do this, do that, it's very chaotic in a way, but like I feel like this is our base from creative patience and love. So I feel like I do have more of those, I think so.
That's it for the questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.